When people say, typically, hey, I got my start on American Idol, they typically mean they got their first like big break. For you, it was quite literally the start of like Cameron Whitcomb. How
Yeah.
was it performing live for the first time outside of, karaoke on your couch to literal millions of people?
Oh, dude, it was pretty crazy. I think I blacked out when I went into that audition room. It was funny because they never tell you like exactly when you're gonna go in. They're just gonna call you like, "Hey, you're up," and I remember that being extremely stressful because it was like, "Hey Cam, we're gonna go do this," and then I'd think this is it. Like I'm getting ready to go, and then all of a sudden it'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, you're an extra." You know what I mean? So I think there was a lot of that, and I think it kind of prepared me for the actual kind of call. But no, it was cool. I had my dad there, and we, it was fun. It was really cool for me. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced before, so it was. I was just grateful to be there, and the fact that it worked out so well for me was pretty special. So
Mm.
I don't know. I'm grateful for the show for sure. Because if it wasn't for the show, I probably wouldn't have realized that there could be more to my life than cutting down trees or digging holes.
I love that because I feel like you kind of hear a mixed review of people who are on these shows. You get a mixed review of people who think that it started their career, and then you have the other people who are like, no, I could have done it without it. So it's great to hear your perspective of, you know,
Well, I think it's a mix of both. I'm grateful because it showed me again, there was more for me. But I remember me and Sam Barber were on the same season, and he didn't make it past the first round in Hollywood Week, you know.
yeah.
And now he's one of the biggest, rising, country stars, which is pretty special.
So you were actually scouted from Reddit, which is a
I
really
was.
cool story. Do you remember what song it was, or if there was a specific chain of songs that kind of got you recognized?
I think the actual one was it was Tyler Childers' song. It was Teddy or Clark and you were mine and Park and Cold. Yeah, one of those ones.
Um, did
um,
you did you do the covers kind of like because you were anticipating the fame, or was it more of a this is fun, I have nothing else to do?
no, man, I have no idea. It was like, yeah, no, I just get home and it was around that same time that I was kind of discovering Tyler Childers and like Johnny Cash and kind of country-esque music because I never listened to any of that kind of music growing up. It was pretty much strictly, West Coast Canadian rap music. You know what I mean? Like there was no, that wasn't something I was listening to. So I was like, oh man, I can kind of sing this.
Mm,
And then yeah, and then just started, singing it on my couch.
I love it. And now here we are today.
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
you had talked about in a previous interview how, Idol had given you that taste of fame. And then when you went home, you kind of felt lost, went back to the pipelines. How is it, almost 2 years later, looking back, 6 million Spotify streamers a month? How does it feel kind of compared to then feeling like when you made it before to like now where you like made it?
It's kind of ridiculous, like it's a pretty insane thing sometimes. I still feel like maybe I haven't wrapped my head fully around it because I feel like, it's just one thing after another and I just, I try to just remain grateful and just keep doing what I'm doing and keep trying to learn and keep trying to grow as a, person and as an artist. I feel like um I don't know, there's still so it's so funny because like you have these goals and then you achieve those goals um and then it's like then it's on to the next thing and then I don't know, I feel like it's just important for me to just keep working hard and good things will happen. Hard work brings good luck, and so as long as I'm doing this 100%, then it'll work. And I don't know.
That's true. You create goals, you achieve the goals, you create bigger goals, you beat it's a never ending cycle.
Totally. I mean, I feel like, this, I mean, it applies to everyone. I mean, everybody should have realistic goals, and, um, things move so much smoother when you get some wins in your life. It's hard when it's like, fuck, I have this huge, huge dream. And then it's like, how do I even get there? And so, I mean, setting realistic goals and like, getting some wins under your belt just makes the process all that better.
Mhm. So touching a little bit on your songs, like you're a very big advocate, and you speak out about your sobriety a lot. You're very open with it, which I love. I feel like it gives an avenue to people who've kind of like been through it or are actively going through it. How is your relationship with sobriety? I think we're gearing up almost on 2 years. And then how does it feel to kind of know that you have this huge fan base around it, a topic such serious as, addictions?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like now I'm extremely comfortable in my sobriety, and I'm glad people can, find solace in some of the words that I'm trying to say. But I mean, at the start, it was just, you know, just just trying to be honest, and just writing about things that meant a lot to me. And I think that's kind of where I found my niche. The more honest I was about things, the more people could resonate with what I was trying to say. And I'm grateful for that, because it's really cool when I can go play shows and then people show up and they're like, I got 1 year sober, 2 years sober, 10 years sober, a few months sober, and it's just like that's fucking really cool, it's kind of it's a special thing, to be in that position where people can kind of look up to me, and I don't even know if I deserve it, but it's cool. Yeah, it's a really special thing.
Mhm. And I know it kind of was like your best friend and then you, and then I think you mentioned your brothers and your dad. And it was kind of like everyone around
Yeah,
you got sober, which I think is awesome. Like you support and you surround yourself and the people who are kind of going through the same thing. Does it
yeah.
ever make you feel like you're kind of like a sense of responsibility that like I have to do this not only for me, but for other people too?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like there's too much riding on everything now to just, give up on it. Not that I want to, but I mean, it's definitely, yeah, there's too much. It'd just be unfair. It'd just be wrong of me,
Mhm.
to kind of go back to that, especially after building all this, and just there's too much riding on it, and it's a good thing. I think it keeps me responsible and keeps me, it makes me realize like what's really important. Like I don't take any of this for granted. This is kind of an opportunity that people would fucking kill for, and so the fact that I'm able to do this for a living is just, you know, I just I can't, I just can't. And not that I want to, and I don't want to.
Mhm.
It's just such a blessing and such an important and special place for me to be. It's just I can't.
Mhm. And I absolutely love that. And I love that a lot of your songs, they talk about the sobriety, but what I really love is how you tie in where you kind of leave it up to interpretation. I know like on Medusa, I had recently seen where you said like that's not a breakup song, it's not about a girl, like it's about drugs and alcohol, which, was that intentional?
I don't know. I feel like that one was such a fun one. I was in such a good mood that day where I kind of came up with some of the best lines that I had ever come up with. And I think a lot of it is just like, just exactly how I was feeling there. I like music that you can kind of listen to and kind of take what you need from it.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know, man. I mean, that's big reason why I don't listen to like a lot of the pop country stuff. It's just because it's just so on the nose that it's just like, and not that there isn't a place for that. I think all music, there's a place for all music, but for me, especially, like, I mean, I feel the best when I like, I don't know, I've written with a lot of people, and sometimes there's a lot of people that I won't write with anymore because they're like, oh, that doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. What does that even mean? I'm like, well, it means something to me, and
Mhm.
like these songs are me, and so I don't know, I think, just like being able to write songs without a filter is has been really good for me. I think partially it's just, growing up on rap music, it's just like there's so many cool little internal rhymes and fucking lots of neat stuff. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
it's cool for me.
Do you remember the first song that you wrote after sobriety?
Oh man, I don't know. I think I don't know. I've written a lot of really shitty songs. I've written a lot of really, really not great songs. I think like directly after, yeah, right after I got clean, it was like, I kind of locked myself away and just, you know, really focused on writing tunes. Um, I didn't really think I started writing about like sobriety and stuff until I started to get kind of more involved with like going to meetings and like talking to my best friend about it and like, talking to other people. I think it really started to hit when I think Quitter was probably one of the first like really good ones about sobriety, when it really started to like matter to me. Because at the start it was just like, fuck, I have to get sober, and this shit's killing me, so I have to get sober. But then I kind of fell in love with it, like just the idea behind it and like, how I was feeling, and I was just feeling so much better, and yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool.
So your second headlining tour is coming up, which is
Yeah, that's
awesome.
it.
Congrats.
Thank you.
What are you most excited about? What do you kind of plan on doing differently now that you've already had one tour out of the way? Now you got another one coming up.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we did it a lot of like, I hired, my buddy as the tour manager, and like, there was just a lot of things that we did wrong trying to save money, which ended up costing us a lot more money. Um, but this time we gotta, the crew's a lot more prepared, because it was like my first tour ever, and we were just winging it, and so it was kind of, now it's like we got a proper tour manager, absolutely amazing guy. We got a front of house sound guy. My little brother's coming back. He's gonna he'll sell merch again. My dad drives the bus. Um, I got my bus. Like I went and did all the repairs to it and whatever else, and new tires, new brakes, and whatever else. And so like, yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm really excited to meet people. That's kind of my favorite. Well, actually, it's tricky because like when we were doing these smaller shows, every time, every after every show, I'd go stand by the merch booth and say hi to anyone that wanted to say hi to me. But now these venues are going from 500 to 1,000 people. It's like that's a lot of people, and so sometimes I'm not able to go out and say hi to everyone. But I usually wait 20 minutes, and if there's still people like at the front of the stage just waiting for the chance, I'll go out and I'll shake a bunch of hands and meet people, and you know that kind of thing. Wait, 'cause I love doing that, and I think it makes a lot of people's days. I feel guilty sometimes that I can't say hi to like everyone, but
Mm. Well, I think if you're still on the trajectory that you're on now, then you'll be playing much bigger shows where I think the fans will appreciate even like waiting 20 minutes. Because I've been going to shows, and like you go to shows a long time where you see a lot of people know, hey, maybe if I hang around 30 minutes, he'll pop out. So I think it means a lot to the fans knowing that you would want to see everybody if you could. So,
yeah, of course. I mean, I'm there because of them. I wouldn't get
mm,
to do this if it wasn't for other people listening to my music.
mm.
Um, so I'm just grateful. Uh,
So you've been through a lot, I feel like in a short amount of time. You went from construction back home, you did American Idol, then back home, back to construction. What do you hope to achieve in another 2 to 3 years?
I don't know. I think it'd be really cool to meet some of my favorite artists that I grew up listening to, and I've gotten to meet a few of them, which is really cool. But I'd really love to meet Post Malone one day, and you know, I don't know, Jelly Roll. I'd love to meet him and say hi to a lot of these people. I'd love to meet Bailey Zimmerman too. That'd be fucking cool.
I feel like you and
But I
Bailey
think,
Zimmerman give off the same energy live, and I love it.
have you seen him live?
I have. I feel like the energy where it's just nonstop, and it's impressive, quite honest. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Do you get
Yeah,
tired?
yeah. No, I have a problem with like blowing out my voice, so I started working with a new vocal coach to, kind of try to bring my voice back. But I don't know. It'll be a learning thing, I guess.
Mm.
But, yeah.
So we're manifesting a Cam Whitcomb tour with Post Malone and Jelly Roll and Bailey Zimmerman. Is that what I'm
That'd be
hearing?
so sick. That'd be so freaking sick. Yeah,
Like,
I'd love that. Yeah, those guys are awesome. It's been cool though, just meeting people and then industry people and then hearing stories and whatever. It's like, it's so funny. Like, I don't know. Like, this is so far from what I ever thought I'd ever be doing. So it's like everywhere I go, it's kind of like, oh shit, like, wow, it's cool, and as the venues get bigger and, just things get more professional and like, it feels really good, like my first ever little tour I did, it was like 5 dates, and it was in Alberta, and we took my buddy's truck and a PA and two guitars, and we just fucking sang songs, like just me and him, right at the start. You know, um, it was basically, I had no music out, so it was basically all just covers, just cover songs,
mm,
uh, which is funny. But yeah, it's crazy going from like playing 50-person venues to full on fucking you know 1,000 to 2,000 seat theaters is ridiculous.
super pumped for you. What is kind of next? What's on the radar? I know we have a new song coming out tomorrow,
Yeah.
Options, which is awesome. What else do we have coming up?
Oh man, I don't know. Just try to keep the mental health right, and I don't know. Just keep working hard. Honestly, that's all I can do.
Mm.
Just try to keep this thing going, and definitely excited to hit the road, um, and meet everyone in the States and start playing bigger shows.